We've been looking at this matter of eyes on the judiciary, how the judiciary is seemingly on trial as it is at this point because of the several controversies that have trailed the judiciary in recent times. And we have in the studio lawyer Inibehe Efyong speaking with us on that. And before we went on the break, you were talking about another challenge being character.
Yes, character. And as I said, the Nigerian judiciary, like the Nigeria police, like INEC, like every institution in this country, to an extent is a reflection. It mirrors who we are as a people. I mean, there is no need pretending about it. It mirrors who we are. And the tragedy, particularly for the judiciary, is that the few who are bastardizing the profession, they are the ones that gain traction. They are the ones that gain currency. It is their questionable pronouncements, right, that seems to cast doubt on the integrity of our court.
So how is it that the NJC cannot rein in or the Nigeria Bar Association cannot come to you just call these people to order?
Well, I think that is a question for the NJC to answer. But as a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, I think NBA must also take blame to an extent for what has happened. And the Nigerian Bar Association is expected to fight not only for its members, but also for the judges too. And to also be seen to be defending the profession, to be standing up to the profession. Whether the NBA currently is doing that satisfactorily, I do not think so. So we have a problem. But the other issue is that within the NJC itself has to be reformed. I think the time has come for Nigeria as a country to have that conversation. The National Judicial Council, headed by His Lordship, the Honorable Chief Justice of Nigeria, needs to be reformed. Needs to be reformed because the powers of the CJN is actually enormous. We have seen even this advocacy being driven by even, within the Supreme Court. Like again, I cite the case of the recently retired judges of the Supreme Court. Yeah. We need to re-examine the role of the NJC in the disciplining of judges because unlike other institutions of government, the courts have held that you cannot discipline a judge without going through the NJC. So no matter what the judge does, you still have to go through the NJC. The question is how effective has that process been over the years? Is the NJC really doing and exercising its function as a watchdog effectively? How effective has that role been? That question has to be answered. And within the profession, the NBA must also ask itself, what have we done or what are we doing wrongly? And how can this be remedied? Because beyond complaints, we must find solutions to this problem. Okay. But the starting point is still remains character. But no matter the laws, we have so much laws in place. We have the Code of Conduct for judicial officers. We have the rules of professional conduct for legal practitioners. The laws are there. But what is the extent of compliance? So I'm therefore advocating that the NBA should take up the challenge of sanctioning lawyers who are saying, I can't imagine it. I can't even fathom that a lawyer will wake up and think of bribing a judge or bribing a magistrate. It should be unheard of.
Okay, so let me give you a report by ICPC, and it says here that judiciary tops its Nigeria Corruption Index. The report says about 9.45 billion naira was offered and paid as bribes by lawyers to judicial officers between 2018 and 2020.
That's quite a lot of money. That's quite a lot of money.
So my question to that as an addendum is, where is the hope of the common man who does not have this kind of money?
That's between just 2 years.
No, this doesn't mean, I don't want us to paint a very bleak picture. I don't want this to look like the entire institution.
It seems you're not looking at conversations that people are having.
I agree that this is a problem that must be addressed. But you see, there's a limit to what we as individual practitioners can do. The institutions are there, and I'm saying that these institutions must be reformed. The National Judicial Council needs to be reformed. We need to really look at the process that judges are checkmated from the writing of petitions and so on. We need to also look at lawyers. No lawyer who is found to have made an attempt to compromise the judge should be allowed to remain a lawyer for one day. I mean, it should be an abomination for this kind of things to happen. But the politicians must also ask themselves, if we continue to try to manipulate the judicial system, we will still need to depend on this judiciary when we are in crisis. Because what you find is that when people have access to power, or when people have access to resources, they try to pollute the institution of the judiciary. But tomorrow, when they are at the receiving end of the establishment, they still run to the same institution of the judiciary. So what I am saying is that it is in the interest of all. It is in the interest of all to ensure that we safeguard the judiciary. But beyond this, we also need to address the welfare of judges.
Right.
The salary of judges in Nigeria is ridiculous.
Is it about addressing the welfare? I understand that we have to address
No,
that.
because
but
if
is it
you are
about
going
that?
to
Because
stop-
you also mentioned character earlier. And so if you are mentioning in another breath that we should talk about the salaries of judges, is it about those two? Because character, if
No
you're
matter
saying
what
character,
you
no matter
receive,
what you receive, you will not.
you are
collect that.
content.
You're
No,
content with that.
I'm not making an excuse.
Right.
But I'm saying that the solution has to be holistic. If you look at what judges in Nigeria are being paid, if all judges in Nigeria are to rely on their legitimate earnings,
How much do they earn?
it's ridiculous.
Would like to hear.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
How much do they earn?
it's ridiculous. What
As ridiculous as
As
it
it
is,
is,
let's just
yes,
hear
ma'am.
what it is.
I'm not going to put a figure to it, but it is not something that is commendable. I mean, recently, the retired justice of the Supreme Court came out to say that even the chief registrar earns more than the justices of the Supreme Court.
How come?
Yes, earn more than the justices of the Supreme Court. Some judges in Nigeria do not earn up to 300,000 or 400,000 per month under the current economy. It is that bad. So, and then, even beyond the question of salary, some judges in Nigeria even pay their judicial assistant from their pockets. Go to our courts. Lagos have even tried in terms of infrastructure. Go to some courts I've gone to a court in Nigeria that, I had to even basically sit. In fact, they don't have chairs.
Where did you sit?
Well, they just molded funny things, and then that is where I'm just telling you how bad the system is. Judges are still writing with long hands. So part of the problem has to be
Reform.
infrastructure, right? We need technology. Look at like the embarrassment that we are seeing from Kano,
Yes.
right? Where
Certified true copy.
a certified true copy of judgment of court is being contested. What is certified true copy? Certified true copy means you are certifying that this is a true copy of the decision of the court. Once it is certified, that is the end of the matter. But we are not seeing certified true copy of decision of the court of being recalled for correction.
Clerical error.
Where clerical error, really? And then we are seeing a situation where judgment is given. They say, oh, but both sides are wondering who is actually the victor, who is actually the winner, in whose favor was the judgment given. All these kind of situations can be avoided. But the other part is that we must also ask ourselves, right? The process of appointment into the bench. Okay, how do you become a judge? How do you become a magistrate? If you look at the list, like I said, also focus on the states, not just the national level. If you look at the list of appointment of magistrates in Nigeria, in fact, one that happened in my state, Akwa Ibom, not too long ago, when I look at the list of those who were appointed as new magistrates, it is either they are related to people who are already in the judiciary, or they are friends of people that are in government, and all these facts were established. And this is what is happening across the entire country. Politicians are populating the judiciary with their proxies. We have to say it. And this simply should not be tolerated. Going to the bench should be a matter of honor. It should be something that someone shouldn't have to lobby for. It should be a call to service. But now we are seeing people being appointed to the process of appointment and elevation has been politicized, and that has to change. So we need to really look at the role of the courts in resolution of electoral disputes.
It's critical.
We need to look at it in resolution of consistency in judicial pronouncements.
Yes.
Today, we hear that membership of a political party is the domestic affair of the party, for which the court has no jurisdiction to probe into. Tomorrow, we see membership of a political party being the basis for the removal of a governor. People are seeing these things. So we are, as a profession, we must also do away with what I call institutional arrogance. We should have the humility to listen to what the public that we are serving as a profession is saying. There is need for consistency. We cannot be having court judgment, basically saying the opposite. Leave even political matters. Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
I want to give you an example. The Freedom of Information Act. There has been a debate whether it is applicable and binding on states. We have currently 2 Court of Appeal judgments. Guess what? They were given 1 day apart, 24 hours apart, right? One is the Dosaka case in Edo State, and the other is Alo and Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly. 1 day apart. The Court of Appeal Division in Akure, the Court of Appeal Division in Edo, gave 2 contradictory judgments within 24 hours. So when you go to court today, right, like when I wrote to Governor Sanwo-Olo during his first term to ask for a certain document, and they simply told me, what is our business? The FY Act does not apply to states. So you go to court now, and you want to sue a state government, the government will carry their own judgment that favors them, and you will carry your own. That is not how it is supposed to be. There is need to sanitize the system. There is need to digitalize the courts so that when judgments are given, those judgments are circulated for all the, divisions of the courts to be aware of.
Right.
We need consistency, especially in political matters.
Right.